make us get better. And people still wondering about the world title race. Well, if Kelly wins here at the Billabong Pro Mundaka and today in Bakio, he could. It's a 99.9% sure thing that he will be the 2006 Foster's ASP Men's World Champ. They're the two boys in the water right now. Andy Irons fighting back desperately to keep Kelly from winning his 8th. He's looking for his 4th up against one of the guys commonly known as one of the best backhand surfers in the world, Trent Munro. So this one is going to be a barn burner. Andy Irons, AI in red, Trent Munro in yellow. 29 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. What are you thinking here, Dino?
Well, I'm thinking that, 3 up, 3 through. Joel Parkinson through into the quarterfinals, Mick Fanning through into the quarterfinals, and now just finishing the 7-time world champion into the quarterfinals. And next up we have the former world champion Andy Irons bidding, to make it through to the quarterfinals as well. As you see him,
there he is,
with his game face on.
Currently ranked 3rd in the world, of course, 3-time world champ.
Yeah, you got to think that he's, thinking it's on. Let's do this.
Well, it's pretty much been on for Andy since he won the Search WCT down in Mexico. Absolutely smoked everyone in that one. Completely untouchable. Even the likes of Kelly Slater couldn't get him down there. Of course, Kelly going down to his good buddy Taylor Knox in Mex. And Andy said it in the interviews afterwards. It's game on from here on out. Of course, we were expecting or hoping for a 4th win from Andy up in France. That didn't happen. There's Trent Munro, currently ranked 30th, highest career ranking 6th, and that 6th place ranking was, if not last year, the year before. But Trent is more used to being in the top 10 in the world rather than in 30th position, so this is a very important heat for Trent Munro as well, as he's looking for a big result here to requalify. And Andy, of course, knowing he needs to make it at least to the semis, if not the final here, to keep his hopes alive for a 4th world title and to take it back out of the hands of King Kelly Slater.
Well, if you're Trent Munro, currently in the position he's in, you got to think that a 9th place is a lot worse than a 5th. If he happens to beat Andy in this heat and move into the quarterfinals, that's going to definitely be a keeper for him at this point of the year. Obviously he's on the bubble at the moment, and this is a very pivotal heat for him, as well as Andy Irons. As you can see in the lineup, a shot of him as they both await to open their account here in heat number 5 of round number 4. Kelly Slater already seen himself into the quarterfinals, and I'm sure he'll be watching this heat very closely, as pretty much the last few years it's been the Andy and Kelly battle for the world title. And with the last event, as you can see, Andy Irons up and riding out the back. Nice little tail whip on that first turn. Big hack snap and another big blast. Wow, Andy Irons looking very on that wave. I mean, that wave was very short, but he put together a string of maneuvers that were pretty vicious on that wave, Dave.
Definitely, Dino. And you know what? I love watching the Andy Irons heats because 9 times out of 10, well, especially as we get into the round 3s and round 4s, Andy always surfs right after Kelly, and it seems like he puts a extra effort into his first waves that he surfs just to show Kelly, okay, dude, you may have won that last one, but here, watch what I've got in my bag of tricks. And that was definitely on the case on that one. Quick in and out for Trent Munro.
Well, here you go. Well, here you go. Here's the replay. Nice big bottom turn as he goes straight up over lip, and you can see his tail whip out the back. And that's the difference between Andy and a lot of guys. I mean, he overpowers the section, and then he snaps on the open face. And his board looking really snappy as he blasts that closeout. Great surfing from the young Hawaiian Andy Irons. Former 3-time world champion, just putting it to him.
And there's Kelly. It's pretty funny, as we sat in Mundaka the other day having a few drinks out at the Chopos bar, Giuseppe's favorite place. You saw Kelly walking down the streets of Mundaka with a scene quite like that one, about 200 kids following around behind him. And Kelly kind of looked at it and just went, geez, it must suck to be him.
Well, there's a great shot of what could be the most accomplished surfer in the history of the sport. I mean, seven-time world champion and current points leader, Kelly Slater, as he rounds the corner into the competitors area.
With Quicksilver Europe team manager and body double, Stephen Belly waiting with Kelly, for Kelly with his hat to throw on for the interviews.
I mean, you'd have to say arguably the best surfer in the history of the sport, Kelly Slater. You know, from Eddie Aikau winner to seven-time world champion, you know, awesome athlete he is. And
yeah, hands down, can't argue with that whatsoever. The only record, ASP record, that is out there still that Kelly does not have his name at the top of the list is the most ever event wins, 34. He's currently tied with Tom Kern at 33. And if we get a few more words from our seven-time world champ, let's go to GT and Kelly Slater down on the beach. Take it away, GT.
Well, Mr. Kelly, you surfed a different bank. You know, we've been here pretty much all morning. When did you make the decision to kind of break from the pack, if you will?
I watched it all day. I would have surfed it in any heat. It was just, those lefts were a nightmare. Those guys are trying to surf. They're flat, they jump up, and then as you go to hit the lip, they flatten out or they close out. So I knew there was a bunch of rights. I saw waves that you could get 5-6 maneuvers on those rights, so I was keeping an eye on that.
Kind of made a difference on that first score. Then in the middle of the heat, board problem. What happened?
Yeah, I think maybe my third wave. My third wave, I hit the lip on my second off the top, and the lip hit the bottom of the board, and it just snapped it when I was hitting the lip. I didn't think it was going to hold together on the way down. I thought it was going to break in half, so I was trying to stay real stable, keep my feet kind of where I couldn't feel any pressure pushing on the board, and I just worked it. I just rode it into the beach and then switch out.
And then your backup, how's it feel?
It feels pretty good. That's actually the board I rode at Mundaka the first couple of heats, so it's a pretty good board.
There we go, have Trent up and riding. Trent putting it under the lip right there. It always seems like, you know, the heats that Andy follows you, and Dave was just saying it on the webcast, that it always seems that kind of his first wave always seems to put it up. Do you ever size up his heats after yours, or is that something that even you really consider?
You know, I mean, the biggest thing is I got to just focus on what I'm doing, and you know, same for Andy. I know there's probably been heats. I know there has been heats for me. Maybe there's been for him too. That, you know, it's almost like you're trying to surf against him, but you know, like, because you know, a lot of times if Andy has the top seed and I'm second, then I'm surfing after him, and it's like I don't have to surf against Andy. I'm surfing against some other guys. So, you know, you can't get sucked into like worrying about the overall picture. You got to surf right then, you know.
And in terms of, I mean, that was Huntington-esque, you coming up the beach right there. In terms of the surf fans, it's awesome.
I was pulling a Machado, moving to the south or to the west.
So, but in terms of the fans here, it's pretty awesome the turnout here and how into it the surf culture is here.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. I don't remember it being this many people in Spain in the years past, but. You know, there's like on the weekend before it was sunny and it was pretty crazy, man. The amount of people out there.
Well, it's a holiday this weekend, so you ready to get your holiday on?
Yes, I guess so.
Well, thanks, Kelly. Congratulations, and one step closer.
All right.
All right, boys. To the webcasters up above.
Thank you very much, GT. There we are, back with our overview of the event site. In the meantime, that first wave of our former three-time world champion, Andy Irons, 667 with a 1-0, and here's his third wave of this heat, Dino.
Well, it looks like Andy Irons is opting to kick out of that, what looked like a closeout ride there. Nonetheless, he does have one solid score at a 6.67, and Trent Munro at the moment with not really a score that's going to count in his two, possibly. Great words from Kelly Slater, our seven-time world champion. He seems to be in a really good headspace at the moment.
He is for sure. And speaking of our three-time world champ, we're going to go to a few words from him on what a normal day in the life of Andy Irons is like.
A normal day, get up. If the waves are good, you know, pretty early before light. Get the coffee ready or something, check it out, look at the waves. If I'm at home, throw a bunch of boards in the back of the truck, depending on size, whatever, you know, how big the swells are. And usually go through a few surf checks, narrow it down to the best spot and surf there for a few hours. get a luncheon, and go check it out. Find a second session for a few more hours. Get ready for the evening barbecue, and wrap it up with my nice little girlfriend.
Oh, geez, I guess it wouldn't be bad to be Andy Irons either, would it, Dino?
The life of Riley. Living the dream, Andy Irons.
Sounds pretty good to me. We got plenty of people writing in from Southern California saying that they'd love to be able to surf lowers every day in the conditions they had the last few years for that contest. It's true. Mike Parsons usually, as contest director, brings a lot of luck to these things. This is probably the least amount of luck he's had all year, but who knows? Something tells me he might have a big fluffy white rabbit to pull out of his hat for tomorrow at Mundaka, as we'd love to go back to that mythical left-hander and finish things off there. Meanwhile, sun's out here in Bakio, Dino. Still overhead surf out the back. Tide is coming back in. Low tide was spot on 3 o'clock, just like you let everyone know earlier on. So see if the conditions clean up a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what this right-left combo does here in front of us.
Well, once again, conditions changing every heat here as all you spectators online watched Kelly Slater on a bank to the left of this channel here that you're seeing on our screen. Now it looks like Andy Irons is opting to possibly go to the right-hand side of the bank. We'll have to wait and see what he chooses to do, but, conditions are changing every heat as the tide looks like it is filling in, Dave.
Well, Dino, yeah, low tide was exactly at 3 p.m., so 45 minutes ago, and it's funny that, Andy definitely watches all of Kelly's heats, and Kelly not fully admitting that he watches what Andy does in his, but depending on the seed, the guy in the whatever, they're watching each other for form, and Kelly always, or Andy in this case, watching Kelly's heat for the conditions. Both surfers in this one have chosen to go out to that right-hander, and but so far has not served them up anything more than a 6.67 on Andy's first ride. Of course, an 8.5 on that first one of Kelly out there. As you can see, ex-top 45 surfer Renan Rocha out of Brazil doing the interviews now for ESPN Brazil. Well, we got a quick break. Let's go back to, there's been a few more questions coming in on the email and a few more comments as well. All right, as we come in division, we're now reading your emails. Hey, everyone, I'm Dave. This is Dino. And Kosaku Slater wants to know why Andy is still the second seed and not Taj Burrow. You want to answer that question, or do you?
Well, I think it's a combination of last year's ratings with this year's ratings, and then they come up with the average, and then that's how they get their seeding.
And some people were asking earlier on what WQS surfers have already qualified for next year's WCT. Well, one of them, I'm not quite sure if that's him writing in, says he can't wait to be on tour next year. That's Ben Dunn. He's currently in the top 10. But right now, if you click on the WQS ratings list on ASPWorldTour.com, any surfer that is over 9,000 points is currently for sure qualified for the CT in 2007. There are 7 of them so far. Number 1 is going to be a first-timer ever on the CT. That's Reunion Islands' Jeremy Flores. And current world number 2 on the WQS will be a comeback kid out of Australia, the Ginger Ninja. You surfed against him in the past. Mick Campbell is
absolutely
back on tour.
And I think he was going for the world title one year.
Yeah,
he might have been rated number 2 in the world one
highest
year.
Ever finished number 2 to Kelly Slater in 1998. So Mick can't wait to get back on tour and to pull the gloves off and have a go at Andy and Kelly once again. Here's Trent Munro, quick in and out there from Trent. And a few more questions. Fernando from the Basque Country sending out a big hi to everyone on the beach, and hopes that the big and legendary Mundaka wave will be back next year. Well, it could be back tomorrow. The swell is still around, and if the swell direction changes and we get enough heats out of the way today, we might be able to run the semis and final at Mundaka tomorrow. People are also asking about what's the deal with only counting the top 8 of 11 results. Well, that's right. It's only a surfer's top 8 results out of the 11 events on tour that count in the point total for the world title, which for right now, Kelly's throwing away injuries. Oh, and a beautiful rainbow out there. Maybe that's a sign from the skies to stop reading emails and get back to watching the action. Here's a surfer, one of those guys. More action to come in the next heat from this guy, Dino.
Bobby Martinez, current world number 7, and a potential candidate for Rookie of the Year, Dave, as he gets ready to hit the water in the next heat.
That's right, Bobby Martinez, 7th in the world in his rookie season so far. The next highest rated seeded rookie surfer is Sean Cansdell, currently in 13th position. And next up is Adriano de Souza in the 22nd spot. So only 3 rookies currently in the top 27 of automatic requalifiers for next year. But plenty of guys on the WQS waiting to take the spots of the back 15, the last 15 surfers on the top 45 this year.
Well, as you can see, the rain starting once again here in Bakio, and it's a pretty unique setting with the rainbow and rain and sun all in one. As you see, Andy Irons at the back kicking out. And in this heat with only 13 minutes and 50 seconds remaining, kind of a slow start to this heat actually, Dave, as Trent Munro currently counting a 2.33 and a 0.70, and Andy Irons with only one real solid score with a 6.67 on his first wave. As you can see, a shot of the eager crowd.
There were thousands of people on the beach 5 minutes ago, and then it started raining again. But there's still a lovely rainbow out there. So, yeah, people clearing off the beach a little bit, but don't you worry. There's plenty of cafes and bars with views of the lineup right behind us on the boardwalk. And I think it's also because about half the people on the beach have realized that Kelly Slater is now taking pictures and signing autographs down at the edge of the contest site, which you cannot see. He's about 10 feet away from Bobby Martinez, who you see there in the red singlet preparing for the next heat. But, yeah, a few people moved because of the rain, Dino, but I think most of them moved because Kelly Slater's handing out autographed 7-time world champ photos.
Well, you know, it's amazing how many people come to watch Kelly Slater. It's actually surprising to me. I mean, I haven't been here for a few years, but man, the crowd follows him around like puppy dogs. It's crazy.
Well, you know, as they say in the latest L'Oreal commercial with Kelly Slater, it's because he's worth it, and he's also won the world title 7 times. And remember, he did play the role of Mr. Slade, that pro surfer guy from the series with Pamela Anderson that some of you might remember called Baywatch. So Kelly Slater, as well as being one of People Magazine's 100 most beautiful people in the world last year, and I believe he made that list again this year. That's kind of, you know, raised his general visibility and notoriety as far as the general public of punters are concerned. So, meanwhile, there we go, trying to draw some of the attention off of Kelly Slater is Andy Irons with a beautiful frontside air there from AI.
Serious control on that aerial maneuver there from Andy Irons. He just poked that thing into the sky. Man, that was very interesting choice of maneuvers as he just punted that thing.
Well, I guess he figured, you know, he's got a rampable section coming up, so he might as well try the air, because trying to work his way around anything out there just doesn't seem to be doing it for him. He was only looking to replace a 1.0. He knows that Trent, his best wave is a 2.33, so I guess he figures, well, maybe it's time to start nailing a few in the coffin of Mr. Munro.
Man, that was sick.
Oh, he's got that one down to a T. That's the exact air that he won the Foster's Expression session here at Bakio just 10 days ago. That was also the double grab frontside air that he threw down in Mexico to take out Taylor Knox in the final. And same air that he did here at Bakio 2 years ago to win the Expression session. So I guess that could be called Andy Irons' go-to aerial move when he knows he needs a big score and needs to stick it. Well, it's the frontside air double grab, good for a 5.17. Here it is one more time, Dino.
Wow, just accelerating straight into the sky, Andy Irons, as he just acts like there's a wave when there's no wave, just straight through the top of the lip with complete control. Wow, that was pretty amazing that he got that high with that minimal of speed. He barely was going on the wave, and he just punted that thing. That was serious control from our former world number 1, Andy Irons.
Absolutely, Dino. That was sick. And yeah, when he had his finals matchup against Taylor Knox, down in Mexico, there were very few tubes left on offer. Taylor, picked off one of the only barrels of the final, and then Andy just went, okay, well, that's all right, I can't pull in. Well, check this out, boys, and just triple pump like that down the line. Huge boost to win his only win of the year, actually, in Mexico for Andy Irons, and definitely looking for his second win here at the Billabong Pro Mundaka once again today at Bakio due to the lack of swell at Mundaka, but still highly contestable conditions out here. Heard McFanning say it earlier on, and Kelly Slater as well. Not too many gems out there, but they're there to be found, and if you can find them, definitely the judges are ready to throw down those excellent wave scores in the 8 to 10 point range. But Andy right now just solidifying his lead against current world number 30, last year's world number 6, Trent Munro, with a 5.17 and a 6.67. And speaking of our former world champ and the title race, Dino, what do you say we go over to the video with a few words from Andy on his quest for a 4th world title?
World title, if I have a hint or even a slim chance at it, that's all I need, and I'm going to be trying my hardest all the way through, and at the end of the year, whatever it is, I'm going to be happy with it, one way or the other.
Well, there you have it, Dino. Well, your personal thoughts on the world title race, Dino Andino?
Well, we've chatted quite a bit about it. Obviously, you got to think Andy Irons is, a definite favorite at Pipeline. But I think it all depends on Kelly Slater, what he does in these next 2 events, because, obviously, with the results he has already this year, he could seal his own fate, is what I'm trying to say. I think that it's his to lose at this point of the game, honestly.
Well, it definitely is, and he knows it, which is, why Andy's, words, well, we'll just see what happens will happen, kind of a fatalist, Mr. Andy Irons. But he knows that this one is really Kelly's to lose. If Kelly wins here, it's pretty much wrapped up for number 8. And as you know, if you follow the tour closely, it's only a surfer's top 8 results that count for the final rankings at the final points tally at the end of the year. Kelly right now throwing away an injury result from Fiji and a 5th place, equal 5th place finish. So those are, wouldn't mind throwing those away. And here's Andy just cruising on this one, but racking up the points, Dino.
Yeah, he opted to pick up this wave on the inside here on the sandbank, and he put together a really nice string of maneuvers on this wave, Dave, as he rounds to the inside here and a finish to his ride. But nonetheless, there you go. The tide's coming up, and Andy Irons picks one off here in the rip, and he banged like 4 turns off on that wave. And at this point, Trent Munro still without a decent score, and Andy Irons, it'd be safe to say that that's a right around average score for him, maybe a little bit above.
Well, his second highest score is a 5.17 for that single maneuver frontside air double grab there from Andy. So we'll see if the judges thought that one was much better. As you said, he's looking a little cruisy, but even a cruisy Andy Irons is capable of putting big scores on the board. For judges' scores coming in right now. And here's once again a replay as we wait for the judges' scores. Dino, let's take one more look at this one.
Well, Andy takes off on this wave. Nice big carve snap, on the face as he snaps back into the pocket. And you can see here, nice big bottom turn and a big snap off the top. Just kind of staying in the pocket and not getting too far on the shoulder as he comes around this section. A nice, relaxed carve. As you can see, Andy's looking really relaxed on this wave and not really trying to force it. But nonetheless, quite a bit of opportunity on this wave still as he comes onto the open face. And nice carve really fluent surfing from our former world number 1, Andy Irons, as he comes into the inside double up here, and nice little vertical snap, kind of a setup move, that one, as he comes around here, and right here he pops his vertical turn, kind of solidifying his score. He did a lot of turns on this wave. None of the turns were really explosive, but nonetheless, Andy Irons looking really in form at this point, and he's obviously in a commanding lead in this heat, and the scores come back at a 6.60 for this ride as he finishes it off on the shore break, Dave.
So a good score for Andy. Once again, 6 to 8 points in the good score range. So 6.6, which, not against everyone, but against Trent Munro in this situation puts Mr. Munro into a combo situation, meaning he needs 2 wave scores of about 6.5 or 7 points each to take the lead off of Andy Irons at this point. Once again, Trent out the back. He's had priority for a lot of the heat, but needing a 2-3-3, with a 2-3-3 and a 1-6-7. He needs a combo of 2 wave scores, only 4 minutes remaining, and without jet ski assist and with the conditions the way they are, Dino, I think it's safe to say at this point that Andy Irons will be moving through to quarterfinal number 3, where he will be meeting up with the winner of heat number 6 of round 4, which will be either Bobby Martinez or Phil McDonald, 2 heavy hitters in their own rights, the surfers coming up in this next heat. What do you think of this matchup, Dino?
Well, I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Both surfers have been in really good form the last couple of events, and Bobby Martinez is lightning fast, really snappy and round with very minimal body movement, whereas Phil McDonald's very smart. You got to watch out for him because he's going to be dissecting the lineup, and currently in the water right now, Trent Munro, he never really got a start in this heat, so it makes you think if you're not on the bank and on the post where the waves are coming in, you're going to lose it. Look at Kelly Slater's heat. He picked the right sandbank, got out there, got a couple solid scores, and was able to pretty much dismantle Corey Lopez as Andy Irons is doing in this heat against Trent Munro. Trent Munro never really getting a start in this heat. He's still lost out there, never really even putting a score down. His highest score is a 2.33.
This heat kind of a reflection of his year on tour, I guess. He goes from 6th in the world last year to 30th in the rankings this year, and last year started out with a bang, won the Rip Curl Easter Classic at Phillips Island, and second event of the year, already he's got a 1 on the board. You gotta like that, and this year he's just had a bit of a shocker from the beginning, and same thing happening out in the water here at Bakio in heat number 5 of round 4 up against our 3-time former world champ Andy Irons. So Andy's keeping his run alive.
Well, as you can see, that's a shot of Andy Irons in the lineup, and Andy's very savvy in the lineup. He can sense the changes before they're happening, and as you can see on that last shot, he was in from Trent Munro about 50 yards, whereas you got to be aware, and obviously Andy Irons is very aware in the water, and at the moment he is currently leading this heat with only 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining, and as you can see, Trent Munro out the back riding, needing a combination of waves, and big snap off the top nonetheless for Trent Munro. And it's very unfortunate for him, Dave. He never really got a start in this heat.
No, never got a start at all, Dino. And, people say it all the time. He is one of the best backhand surfers in the world. And we saw, actually, in his round 3 heat at Mundaka, who did Trent come up against? But against Sean Cansdale, and just absolutely took it to Cansdale, just a string of backhand off the lips and re-entries all along the bank at Mundaka. Super fast surfer, super precise, but these conditions out here, I guess, just tripping him up a little bit. And this one really all about our former 3-time world champion and the leader of the Kauaian Wolfpack, Andy Irons. There's the replay for Trent, and just unlucky once again. Even that bottom turn, just couldn't get it going.
Yeah, it looks really, he was bobbling around on that bottom turn as he hooks this turn. That's a really committed backside snap though in the pocket, and unfortunately for him, he never really was able to get the opportunity to get a score in this heat. And
there's the final buzzer. So he.